Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Up on the Soapbox podcast. This is episode 29, and boy, do we have a great one for you today. Dan, how great is it going to be?
Well, I'm looking forward to it. I like to say, I don't know too many people in Arkansas, but I would consider Megan my best friend in Arkansas. So I cannot wait to have a chit chat with her today.
That makes two of us. I'm thankful that I do have a new best friend in Arkansas as well. So without further ado, I've never said that on this podcast. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce today's guest. Joining us today is an incredible OG soapboxer. Her name is Meghan Hamlin. She is the owner of Southern Branding out of Little Rock, Arkansas. And if you go to her website, you're going to see all kinds of Razorbacks all over the place. And she wears that on her sleeve, probably figuratively and literally.
Yeah,
Meghan,
sometimes. Yeah.
Thanks for joining us today. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Thank you. I'm first of all very honored. Thank you for asking me to be part of this. But yeah, so I'm Meghan from Southern Branding. So my husband Chad and I actually own the business together. And to give credit where credit is due, Chad actually started the business. And our story around that is he started the business right before we got married. And I was doing something totally different at the time. I was in restaurant and hospitality management, which actually translates really well into what we do because it's all about relationships, right? And the customer experience. And so it was right before we were getting married. We were in a counseling session with our church, and Chad comes in and says, hey, I quit my job and I'm starting a business. And so that's how Southern Branding began. And here we are 14 years later. So it's been fun. That's how I got into it.
So that was 14 years ago. At some point along the way, you both collectively came to the determination that you wanted to align yourself with AIA.
Yeah.
And so discuss maybe the mindset there and what went into that thought process about aligning yourself.
Yeah. So when I first actually stepped into the business and took on a full-time role, I handled a lot of the back end with it. So I did a lot of the client invoicing, supplier invoices, payables, all of the really, really not fun stuff that wasn't necessarily something I was great at. I just happened to be the better of the two of us. So it landed on my plate. And we started, well, first it was meeting David Woods back in the day. So met David, and just what an impression, he makes with anybody who knew him would know. He was just that kind of person, right? And so that's how the relationship kind of began for us. They were not a hard sell. They were a very, soft touch with us and listened. And our pain points were the back end. That's what we needed help with, because my skill set was better suited to working with clients. And once we did that, and we joined with AIA, which has been since 2015 for us. We've been an affiliate with them. We've more than doubled our business since joining, and that was pretty immediate over the first couple of years. So we've had a lot of success partnering with them.
That's fantastic.
So can you talk about the husband-wife dynamic? I mean, I just in the interest of transparency, I worked with my family for 12 years with a small boutique supplier, and my folks were there first, and I came in, and then my sister was there before me as well, and we worked together for about 12 years, and it actually worked out pretty well. We had a lot of stuff going on, and that's why I am where I am right now. Yeah. But I know working with family can be challenging. Working with your husband, I'm sure, is a whole different layer.
Mm-hmm. It is. But I think that, well, I'll say our biggest challenge with it first. So our biggest challenge, I think, with it is the boundaries of when is it not about the business, because then it's really easy to go home at the end of the day and it's still about the business because that's what you're talking about. So I think that's probably the biggest challenge is that awareness of, okay, work is done. We both work at the same place. We're dealing with the same things, and we have things we need to catch each other up on, but let's not do it in our downtime. So that's probably the hardest thing, but we're very different. And anybody who might watch this who knows us is probably gonna really get a good laugh out of that, because I'm saying it politely. So we're very different in the way that we approach things. but that actually works out in our client's favor, because we'll have a meeting with somebody and I have one point of view on something and he has a different point of view on something. So our clients are getting the best of both worlds, and it's like a 2-for-1 deal, right? Like our clients actually really like it when they have meetings with both of us, because we feed off of each other and we're able to idea generate that way.
It's interesting take. If you shifting gears just a little bit, what, in terms of marketing trends within our industry, what are you seeing out there, or how has your approach changed recently, if at all, in terms of trends and imprints and the use of logos? Has it changed over the last couple of years for you?
Yeah, I think it definitely has. I think in the area that we are in, it's starting, we're a little slower in the game to it. But the conversation that we're having with our clients, and really this came about, just to give you the context and the background with it. For us, this came about during the pandemic, because at the onset of 2020, it was how do we, and not saying we specifically, but our clients, how do people stay in touch with their clients? How do they stay in front of people? You're not going into places, you're not giving people an experience. And for us specifically, like when you come into our office, you get an experience. We've got essential oils going. There's a dog you're going to pet. You're going to get a cocktail. Like we're going to give you like the Southern hospitality thing.
Susan, can I come visit sometime?
Yeah, come on. 4 o'clock meetings are our most booked time. So come on. So we give people, that's what we give people. And certainly our clients do that as well. So how do you still give people an experience and make memorable impressions, right? When you can't be face to face with them. So that was the challenge. And so one of the things that we learned through that, and through listening and learning from other people, I'll give a shout out to Charity Gibson on this, because she's one of the people that I started following that really learned a lot from in regards to this. It's just talking about messaging, and messaging is not about your logo. Messaging is about, the feeling, right? It's about how somebody feels when they get that item. And that doesn't always mean that it's your logo front and center. So that's probably the biggest thing that we've started having conversations about with our clients. Certainly throughout holiday, that was a really big thing, is like, look, this does not, we're all attached to your logo, and your logo is great and we love your logo, but it doesn't have to be about your logo. Really it's about that feeling and how you feel when you're gifted it. And then also the longevity, because so let's get practical with it. If, you've got this in your cabinet and it's this big fat company logo on here, or you've got the same item in your cabinet and it's got a cutesy little retail saying, like, which one are you going to keep? It's probably not going to be the one with the big fat logo on it. It's going to be the one that looks more retail. The person's still going to know how they were gifted that, where they received it. They're still going to get that warm, fuzzy feeling. So it's still going to get another brand impression. So it's just how long do we want those brand impressions to last? And sometimes that means not making it about yourself.
And it's so true, because is the point turning someone into a walking billboard, really?
Right.
I mean, I don't think so. The point is like you say, that feeling that you get, that you're connected to each other in whatever way that they want to convey. Yeah. And no, I love that trend in our industry. And I think that's a really good point you raise. If you were the queen of the promotional products industry, is there anything you would change about the structure of our industry? What is something that's, you could just wave a magic wand and just create something new and different?
Oh man. Okay. So that's hard, because the past 2 years has been hard in our industry, right? It's been hard. So when we're talking about waving a magic wand and what we could change, I would say, in some ways, like let's speed up the learning curve process a little bit with where we've had to be with the rebound on production and the rebound on training. So some things are out of our control. Inventory is out of our control. But maybe the learning curve on the training side, because that affects how we all experience things. So that would probably be my, if I could wish for anything, it would be going back to those pre-COVID days. But certainly there are other aspects of our industry that I think we've learned so much from post-COVID, or well, I'm saying post-COVID, we're on the tail end of it, hopefully, right? Certainly with the way that we're like talking about messaging, trade shows, platforms like this, like we've learned so much. So I can't take that part for granted either. I don't know. Okay, I'm going to ask you that same question. What would you do? Magic wand.
See, this would get me in trouble, but basically, I always go to, you know, the one issue that I always have trouble with is distributors are bothered by suppliers that sell direct, and yet they don't see the double standard in doing some direct import business. And so,
okay.
So that for me, that's always the point I go to, and it's very contentious, and I'd rather not even, you know, turn this into that conversation. But that one, I just wish everyone could be transparent about their channels and open and upfront about it. And I think if both parties are in both cases, it would be fine. But it's more of a paranoia, I think, that you know, really affects the conversation as opposed to the reality of the situation. So it's a tricky little subject. How about you, Brett? Might as well throw it to you.
Yeah, that's there's so many ways to go with this in a response, but I'd like to up the professionalism of the quality of the items that are sold through this industry. Like if I could take the magic wand as the king of the promo, queen, whatever it is, you know, it is 2022. But if I could take a magic wand and make some stuff disappear right away, I'd probably target the sub $3 items. I think we need to raise our game a little bit, and I think that adds to the professionalism of the industry as a whole. We are selling better product that's not likely to get thrown in the trash can. I think that's a real important distinction for those distributors who are doing well. Generally speaking, they don't dwell in those less expensive items just because it's
the trash and trinket reputation of our industry.
Well, and to quote, I think Danny Rosen coined the phrase of brand fill.
Yeah.
So, and that's what we're talking about here. So, and I think that's catching on. I really think that is, that's got some legs to it. And I'm really pleased about it.
Well, I mean, when you can openly have those kinds of conversations with your clients and with the end users about, okay, look, you've got $1,000 budget. You think that means then that you need to buy 2,000 50-cent pieces? Like, no, that's going to be trashed. You're throwing your $1,000 down the drain. So let's come up with some creative ways. And that's where like the relationship parts come in. So the relationship with the distributor, and then the distributor working with suppliers too, right? Like we got to have that support of, hey, you know, what did you see that worked? Tell us what's working in this industry. I mean, that's the other key thing that I love about working with suppliers. And then also specifically on the Soapbox platform, that was the question that I always asked was, tell me about what's working. Tell me about what you're seeing being ordered in what industries, and give me some success stories. Like, give me some ideas that I can take back and use in a concrete way. So absolutely. You just have to be transparent about, you know, the conversation. And it's the change in mindset from order takers to being really someone of service and value.
All right. So I'd like to switch gears a little bit and ask you a question about licensing. I noticed it right on your front page, on your homepage there, and you're licensed to sell, I guess, Arkansas branded, University of Arkansas. Is that what it is?
University of Arkansas. Yeah.
So you're licensed to sell University of Arkansas branded merchandise. So licensing is daunting to a lot of people, and I'm sure it wasn't an easy process. You would talk about the pros and cons, the process, anything licensing related that may be able to enlighten some people that may actually tune in and listen to us here.
Well, for us in Arkansas, we have no pro sports or anything like that. So everything is the University of Arkansas. So that was an important relationship for us to establish. We actually even have a smaller satellite office that's a showroom in Fayetteville. because which is where the University of Arkansas is, because it's that important to us to have and maintain a relationship with the university. The licensing part itself was a pretty long application process, and letters of references from your clients, and being able to show an immediate intent of sell of what your book of business may be, because CLC, they want their part in that. But for us, though, what our license allows us to do is to work directly with the university, and then people who also pay to have sponsorships. So we're allowed to co-brand with that. We are not creating new Arkansas products and selling them in bookstores and that sort of thing. Our focus is on the different departmental relationships within the university.
When you say it was a lengthy process, give us an idea. Give us an idea of how long that might have taken.
It was a several month process, and even on the back end of it now, there's a lot of reporting that you have to do. For us, it is a little bit because you have to report sales and royalties, and then you have to pay those royalties. For us, since our focus is predominantly university based and working within the different departments, they don't have to pay royalties. So our reporting process is a little more simplified and easier to do. But for those that are like, you're actually going and you're creating the product and you're doing the hologram sticker and you're placing them in, that it's a big deal. It's a lot. It's an investment.
I could see that. I could see that. By the way, switching gears and you ever been to Piggott, Arkansas? I need to ask you that.
Piggott, Arkansas? No.
Yeah. Okay, northeast corner of your state. You go check that little town out. I want you. I want to report back from you when you get a chance to go there.
Okay. Right. I don't know about this. Well, there's another Soapbox connection to Arkansas. Oh. So from the chest, his wife.
Jacob's wife.
Yeah, Jacob's wife is from her family owns one of the Post family wineries that's in Arkansas. So there's another Soapbox connection to Arkansas for you.
Very good.
Yeah, but we want you to be our best friend.
That's
okay. I'll still be your best friend.
So your Hogs, I think, have a chance to make a little noise in March. By the way, in the tournament, they look pretty darn good. Didn't they just beat Kentucky the other day?
Yeah. And we beat LSU last night, and that was a down to the wire game. Yeah.
What's going on with your coach there? He's in a sling.
He had shoulder surgery. Oh. So he's pretty. I don't know if you're paying attention and watching him. He's pretty feisty. He's got some spunk. Yeah. He definitely gets the spirit going. So we're all on the mess bus, as they say. Coach Musselman, we're definitely fans.
Yeah, he's good coach.
Well, it certainly will be an interesting couple of weeks in college basketball. So Meghan, thanks for joining us today. It's been really great to have you here. Boy, I told you it would fly by, and I wasn't kidding. Yeah, it definitely did. Well, I'm happy that you joined us on the Soapbox as part of our inaugural group. That was fantastic. But I'm probably happier that we can say we're best friends, and we're going to, best friends from Arkansas, of course. And we'll leave it at that. But thanks for being with us today. We appreciate it, and continued success and best of luck in everything you do.
Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.